The job search can be so frustrating, and you can begin to feel really demoralized and hopeless in the process. So, how can you stay motivated if your job search goes on for longer than you had hoped? Hey everyone, it's Emily, the Career Catalyst, and I just want to talk today about this idea of motivation and staying really focused on the job search and maybe recapturing the motivation if you've lost it. So we all know, I think, that the process of looking for a job can be very depressing, can be demoralizing, can make you feel like there's just no hope for you. And so, first of all, I just want to acknowledge that that is a really common complaint I hear. It's not even a complaint, it's just a common place that people go when they're in the process of searching for a job. It's depressing. And it gets to the point, especially if it's been a while, where you feel like, I'm going to connect with more people on LinkedIn, I'm going to apply for more jobs. It can definitely get you to the place of feeling really hopeless in the process. And, you can't really give up. So, what can you do when you need to recapture your lost motivation? Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is take some time off, right? And I know this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you've been really super engaged in this process of looking for a job for a long time, you're just going to hit a wall. And so these days off that you take are going to be really, really important. And if you take some days off, what I would say is try really hard to have a full chunk of time dedicated to something that's definitely not looking for work. So, go hiking, go to a museum, do something that puts your focus and attention on something entirely unrelated to the job search. And that's really going to let your brain relax and let it stop kind of hyper focusing on this process of the job search. So, that's tip number one. Now, my second tip for you is to get really specific with what your dreams and hopes are. I think we often start off that way. I want this job title at this company or something related to that. And as the search kind of drags on and on and on, we begin to make more compromises and think, well, this would be okay, that would be okay. And I don't want that to be kind of your default setting. So take some time and spend some time at it, really writing down specifically what you want. And this can be actual job titles or positions at particular employers, or it can be just kind of what the job looks like. So, I want a job that allows for flex time, or, I want a job that pays me X amount of money and gives me X amount of vacation. So get really specific with it and really write that down, really capture it, because then you have your goals kind of reframed for yourself, and it's going to keep you from making too many super large compromises. The third thing I'll tell you is that depending on how long you've been at this, as you're beginning to feel the lack of motivation, one of the issues I see a lot is that because there's no external structure to your day, you can get into that place of kind of wasting a lot of time, feeling like you're really spinning your wheels. So if you need to, and this is also true if you are just in a financial situation that feels unmanageable, is you can definitely go look for a gig job. There are some really good websites for kind of part-time gig type jobs. You can also look for temporary work. And the reason I like this is that these are typically not things that you're likely to seek to sustain long term. Temp jobs, of course, are just by their nature not going to be ongoing. And gig jobs, they have a lot of disadvantages to them. What I like, though, is that something like that will give you probably some external structure. It depends on what you do, of course, but seek the kind of gig or part-time job that really does impose some structure on your day. It might just be that you go work part-time for your local Trader Joe's or some such. So, you've got some structure to your day, you've got some money coming in the door, but it's not such a big chunk of time that it's going to leave you not able to continue job searching. That could be other ideas as well. So you can also certainly look for things like volunteer gigs if you feel like you're in a financial place to do that. Really good just to have someone else telling you, from 9:30 to 11, you're doing this. And then you don't have to add the whole body of structure to your day. Next step is to really look for some people that you admire in the world of work, people who are sort of role models for you, and really kind of pay attention to what they're doing and what feels successful in terms of the steps they're taking and that sort of thing. And part of this is that, of course, when you do this, you can then follow them on LinkedIn and see what they're up to. Part of it is that you can hear their stories and kind of re-engage with that sense of hopefulness, and that idea of just the idea that our career paths have highs and lows. We kind of have peaks and valleys, and that's really normal. So check out those kind of role models for yourself in the world of work. And then the last thing you can do is see if you can get some specific tips and constructive criticism from people who are already in your life, right? This is a tough one. It doesn't always feel great, but reach out to some connections that you already have on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm trying to get into what you do. What do you think of my profile? Or, I'm trying to really capture what my strengths at work are. What do you think? Those kinds of questions will really get you thinking in a different way about what you, how you're selling yourself and what you can do differently. Ask for constructive criticism specifically. Don't just say, what am I doing wrong? You might get an earful, particularly if it's family, but ask for some constructive criticism and some tips. This can be very specific. So again, like I said, it can be certainly about your LinkedIn profile. It could be about your resume, your interviewing style, whatever it is, or it can be more general. What would you say my strengths and weaknesses in the world of work are? That kind of question. And that's going to really help you identify any areas where you're not performing as well as you could and shore them up, but also to really play on your strengths. And I think that's one of the most important things that we can do in this process, really understand what our strengths are and very specifically play to them, because it's very easy for us to focus on our weaknesses. And the truth is, your weaknesses are never things that you're gonna get super good at, right? Nobody goes from, I can't pay attention to detail to save my life, to like super bookkeeper. It's just not a thing that we do. What you can do is shore up your weaknesses to the extent that they're not holding you back. But where you will always find more success is in those arenas where you really are playing to your strengths. So for instance, if you're really good at building relationships, think about that and figure out what that means for your career path, for your world of work, and how you will be successful as you move forward in this path. So I hope these tips are helpful. Let me know if you need more help with this. But do, like I said at the beginning, do be sure you're taking those breaks, because continuing to hit this job search every single day is just going to get exhausting, and we don't want that. So let me know where you are in your process of career searching, where you're finding your motivations, and where you're definitely hitting that wall, because that's a really normal thing as well. Hope you have a fabulous weekend. Reach out to me if you're at the point in your career where you're just not feeling any hope, and we can talk through some additional tips for you. In the meantime, have a really great weekend. I'll see you here next week.